Well, welcome back, my friends, to part 2 of the Jed Hornbeak Cowboys, choir boys, it's all kind of boys, camp knife. This is the choir boys camp knife. So welcome back to another rousing rendition. Listen, this is the choir boys camp knife made by Jed Hornbeak. The design is a collaboration between Jed Hornbeak, Captain Electro, and myself. Part 1 of this video, I will pin in the description. I'm sorry, I'll put in the description. You can't pin them anymore, I don't think. But I will put a link to part 1 in the description. In that, we did a ton of cutting. Now, these 2 videos are purpose-driven. We're getting used to the knife. I want to see everything about the knife. I want to learn everything about the knife that I can. So I took it with me this weekend camping. I've used it ever since probably Friday, and I'm talking about day in and day. And I know that's only a couple days, but listen, I added my normal use of a knife, and then we just been doing everything we can with it. I tried to process as much firewood at camp as I could with it. I got some good chopping in, but this video, if you're wondering, man, why aren't you cutting anything? That's in part 1. Again, there will be a link in the description. Please check that out. And the idea here is to make the ultimate knife for me, for choir boys outdoors, okay? Now, let me give you some specs on it. I did in part 1, but I want to give them to you again in case you're watching this one before part 1. Choir boys camp knife. It is in 3V. It is a 1/4 inch thick. The overall length is 11 inches. The blade length is 5 5/8. The cutting edge is 5 1/4. The blade width is 1 inch and 7/8. Now, the handle length is 4 3/4. And when I say that, I just mean the handle scales. The inner grip is 4 1/8. Generous inner grip there. We talked about that some in the first video. I'll mention it later. The handle thickness is 11/16. The knife weight is 14.6 ounces. Total weight with the sheath is 1 pound, 4.5 ounces. And the sheath is Kydex with a leather frog. Really, really well done. Jed Hornbeak is the maker, and he is an amazing maker. I will also put a link to Jed's website in the description. Now listen, I want to thank everybody for the feedback. Got a lot of great feedback, and here's the deal, guys. Somebody said, Scab, do you not like? I love the knife. This is my knife. This is our collaboration. But I want you to understand, if we're going to have something that's got our name on it, then it's got to be just right. All right, here we are at the campsite. This is oak. I wanted to get some of this chopping in. Y'all see me. Here's old Joseph in the background. Y'all see me a lot chopping up everything at work. We go with what we have. It's just what we do. So I wanted to make sure to take the knife with me, get some of that oak in, and just do some real world chopping and processing up wood for a fire. Now, yes, you can use a saw, but this isn't really a saw channel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll get one to make some people happy, but what I wanted to do is use my camp knife. I wanted to process up as much firewood as I could. I didn't know, I guess Joseph's swinging on the swing back there. The thing that I found is this, with the handle. This knife, now right here, if you watch, let's just watch for a minute. Now guys, what I'm doing is called a pop chop. You would almost use a kukri, or use this like you would a kukri, something like that. And what I found by using that particular technique is this thing gets it done. I drop my pinky, I don't have more than one. I drop my pinky to the bottom, I rest it on the bottom, and it's a pop chop. If you'll see my wrist there, I'm popping. So I'm maximizing the effect. Now, 14.6 ounces is a good weight. I really believe it is. I also think that it's balanced very, very well. But this knife, it's got a slight forward cant, which I like. The handle is conducive for 2 to 3 different grips. And I like that. I like being able to drop my hand. It's got enough weight that it hits excellently. It hits hard. It hits above its weight, and that's what we like. And I drove it down into that stump there. What I wanted to do with this video is really the first part of the video was getting used to the knife. Part one's kind of getting used to the knife, the different grips, the things like that. Part two is showing a little more toughness on that edge. Now this is 3V. I love 3V, and Jed does an amazing job in 3V. It's also, guys, I also want y'all to understand, I didn't sharpen or strop through both of these videos. Okay, no cheating. We're just using the knife straight. I did the video Friday, cut as much stuff as we could. I used it at the camp, processing firewood. And I didn't show all of that, guys. We'd have been here for 30, 40 minutes. I didn't show all of it, but I processed a bunch of wood. I come back home, did some batoning at the stump, went in the woods and chopped on that oak tree some good flat chops directly on that edge. No sharpening, no stropping. I wanted to see how long the edge lasts, okay? I want to get a good feel for it, get a good feel for everything. Now right here, I'm just dicking around, and this is what I was going to tell y'all. Not everything I do is designed to show the knife. Some of it is designed for me to get used to handle the knife. What you're seeing here, a lot of times I do this kind of stuff like hammering it into a board or something. I may not always show you that, but I always do that like after. What I do is I do the review on a knife. I show you the initial sharpness out of the box. I do that. I give you the review. I give you my thoughts on it. Then I play with it and see if I'm going to carry it, see if I'm going to mess around with it. Now right here, I wanted to prove to y'all that I hadn't sharpened it any. This is that 3/4 inch nylon rope, which I absolutely despise. We get through it, but it takes a second, okay? It's important to keep honest with this, because this right here, guys, this is as much about getting a knife right as it is showing the knife work, if that makes sense. So if I take shortcuts, if I sharpen, if I strop and give you a dishonest look, I'm hurting myself, because this is going to be our channel knife. Now, again, found a little piece of oak right here, and I was just showing you right there that pop chop. I'm going to try to give you some better looks at it. I wanted to find some like dried out, harder wood just to do some slap chops with. This is one that I do a lot. I do this right here a lot, whether it's on camera or off. Hold the limb and try to chop the end off. It's control. It shows me control. It shows precision, and it helps me kind of hone what I want to do with the knife. This knife did incredibly well, and you guys know, the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it, right? I've said this a million times. I'll say it a million more. The knife is only as good as the skill set of the guy showing it. So my goal is to do 3 or 4 videos with this knife. Now, it's going to be another couple weeks before you see another one. I wanted to get a good couple of videos in. And really, guys, this is my knife, right? So I didn't want to cram everything into a 30-minute video. Nobody's watching that. Now watch this. Boop. Little slap throw there. I'm not a knife thrower. I don't pretend to be. I do like testing the handle scales and the tip right here. We're going to flip it. Yep. Look at money, son. Money. I love the weight and balance of this knife. Now, let me show you a couple things here. I'm going to show you a couple different hand grips. That's what I'm talking about right there with that slap chop. Choking up, dropping down. A lot of power, a lot of pop comes with that. I like holding it in reverse. Here we're just orienting the blade all 4 directions. See how it feels. I'm going to tell you something, guys. This, for me, and that's all I can discuss, is the knife for me. The knife for me fits very well in hand. It contours to my hand, right? I didn't get any hot spots from batoning. I didn't get any hot spots from chopping. I didn't get any hot spots from stabbing. Now we're going to continue to do it. I want to get better and better and better. My goal is to sit down with Jed at Blade Show and go over. Do we need to improve anything? Are we good where we're at? And again, thank you for all the input. I greatly appreciate you. Guys, real quick, there was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. Now, we're on the weekend, the stats are higher. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. And vets, all that means, we love you. you have a place here. Personally, I back the blue, guys. It gets a lot of flack. A lot of people don't understand it. Always back the blue till it happens to you. Well, it's happened to me when it's happening to you. And just trust me, guys. When I say I have my reasons, I do. And I'm not shoving it down anybody's throats. These are just my causes. And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. Well, I'm scared. You're not, and I'm gone.